Welcome to our sewing class today. Today I'm going to show you how to make a cooking apron. Let's look at the pieces of material we need. First of all, this is the actual apron here, and I'll show you shortly how to cut it out there. But this is a nice big apron, well, because I need a big apron. We then will have these two pieces of material, which are 10 centimetres wide, 75 centimetres long. They're for our straps to tie around the waist. I have here two pieces of tape, each 40 centimetres long. They're cotton twill tape that you can buy from the haberdashery place, fabric place, 3 centimetres wide. They're nice and strong. We're going to use them to tie around the neck. And the last piece is a rectangular piece of material for the pocket. To cut your piece of material for the apron, you can just use any piece that you've got that you find suitable. And the size of the apron, well, it's usually determined by the size of the material you've got. To start with, on this one, I had a piece of material that was 1 metre long, 100 centimetres long, and it was 70 centimetres wide. I folded it in half here. Now this was a rectangle originally, and you can see here, all I've simply done is cut that curve around in there. Now, this will be about 15 centimetres across at the top, and then just come down about 25 centimetres, and then just cut it into a curve. First thing we'll do is make up our two straps that you're going to tie around the waist. Take your long piece of material and fold it in half lengthwise like this. Pin it then 1 to 1.5 centimetres from the edge all the way down. Then we're going to sew it. Right, now we'll sew up the strap. First of all, start by sewing across the short side. When you get to the corner, make sure the needle is down in the fabric. Lift up your press foot, turn it around, put it down, and then you're ready to sew again. Whenever you get to the end of a row of stitching, don't forget to reverse. Come back to this corner here, you'll see there's where the stitching goes up and around. I want you to cut across the corner on an angle like this. That takes out all the fullness. Cut off that corner there and cut your threads short. Now we're going to push this through to the right side. You can use a pair of scissors or a knitting needle. Push it through at the end so that it's coming out the centre. And there, it's through to the right side. The corner looks terrible. We want nice, sharp, square corners there. You can use your quicken pick to very gently, don't cut it, but just pull the corners out. Next, we'll just iron that nice and flat. And there we have our two straps for tying the apron up around your waist. Next thing, we'll get the pocket ready. First of all, we need to do a small hem across the top of the pocket. So fold it over about 5-7 mils, fold it over again and pin it in place. When you're stitching a hem down that's been folded twice, it's really important to do a line of stitching quite close to the edge of where it's folded. We don't want the stitching here in the centre, we definitely don't want the stitching over here at that side. We want a nice row of stitching close to where the folded edge is. There you can see how I've stitched just close, about 2 millimetres, 2.5 millimetres from the edge of the fold. Next thing we need to do is fold over each of the sides about 1 centimetre, like that, across the bottom and up the other side. Now I'm going to press that down with the iron. With the corners, just a little trick to make things neater. Fold it in at a 45-degree angle so it's mitered on the inside there. That will stop when you're stitching it, the edge showing like that. So we just fold and I pressed it down. Next we'll get the apron ready. First of all, we need to fold the top of the apron twice to sew a hem across, about 2.5-3 centimetres wide. Then we need to hem the 3 straight edges of the apron. Exactly the same as before, we're going to fold it twice, pin and sew. Size of this hem only needs to be 1 centimetre. We'll do both sides and the bottom. Right, I've sewn both sides and I'm about to do the hem across the bottom. Now if I just fold it up like that, you will see that when you fold it there, this edge here shows. That's okay, but it's not the best. There's a real good trick. Before you fold it, fold the corner down into a 45-degree angle. Then fold over once and twice, pin it in place, and you have a nice mitered corner. This makes it look much neater. Don't forget, whenever you're doing rows of stitching like this, to go backwards and forwards at the end. This will secure it so it doesn't come undone. There we have our apron. We have hemmed the top, the sides and the bottom. Next we're going to put the pocket in place. Lay your apron flat on the table. Put your pocket in the centre here, about 20 centimetres below where these armholes come here. Just measure each side to ensure that it's actually in the centre. 21, 19, so I need to move it just this way a little, so it's 20 and a half, 20 and a half. Nice and centred. Pin it in place with the edges folded in as we did before. Now we will top stitch around each of those three sides on the sewing machine. This is a place you must be sure that you go backwards and forwards at the ends, because that's a point of quite significant stress. Just as we did on the straps, we need to pivot carefully around at this corner. So down to the edge, make sure the needle is down in the fabric. Turn, put the presser foot down again, and you're ready to go. Just as we did when we sewed the hems, you need to sew nice and close to the folded edge there. Finally, we need to hem the armhole area of the apron. This is just a little trickier because it's curved, but it's not hard at all if you take it carefully. Just as we have done on the other hems, you need to fold it over twice and pin it. This point here where there's a curve, it's cut on the bias of the material and it will stretch around that curve. You don't want to make this hem very wide. In fact, I'll actually make that just a little narrower. There, we've pinned that in place and we'll just stitch it like we've done it before. The last thing we need to do on the apron is to stitch on the waist strap and the strap that goes around your neck. This is a two-part process. First of all, place your strap just short at the top of the apron across there. Don't put it over top of this seam you've got on the side, because that will just be too thick for the sewing machine to cope with. So we're going to place it and we're just going to stitch a line of stitching across there. Again, this is a point of high stress. Make sure you go backwards and forwards securely. Clip your threads off. Secondly, we then turn the strap so it goes straight up. Secondly, we're going to turn the strap so it goes straight up there, and we're just going to do a line of stitching across the top here. Don't forget the backwards and forwards. And there you have it, nice and securely stitched on there. That should never fall off. Do the same at this point where the armhole comes down at the waist there with your waist strap. And there's our apron all complete. I think we should get Rosemary to model it, don't you?
Really, Mum?
Yes.
Really? I didn't put my face on today.
Tie the apron up around your neck there. Tie it around your waist. There, I wonder if I can get her in the kitchen now and do some cooking.